Hi there, I'm Pingak Sahai and I hope you guys are doing well. Today we are starting our 10th module in the machine learning course for GATE DA, and in this module we will learn about decision tree. Okay, so let's start with the introduction to decision tree. This will be a pretty basic lecture, but let's start. So what is decision tree? A decision tree is a non-parametric supervised learning model that predicts the target value of an input by learning sequential, hierarchical, if then else decision rules inferred from a training data. Okay, so what this is saying basically, how decision tree actually work is, let's say we have this data set. Okay, and we want to classify a student into fail and pass. So how decision tree will start? It will select one feature. Like here it will start with, let's say, our study, and it will apply some criteria. Like here it can apply, okay, our study greater than, let's say, 3. Okay, then you have two situation, yes and no. Okay, so all those nodes, all those values, all those sample instance which satisfy this condition will come on the left side, and all those nodes which fail to satisfy this condition will come on the right side. Okay, so let's see. This is greater than 3, 3, greater than 3, greater than 3. So these 4 nodes, these 5 nodes actually will come on this side. Okay, and then you will apply different condition on these nodes. Like now we will check the attendance. So here if the attendance is, let's say, greater than equal to 40%, and here if the attendance is greater than equal to 60%, and then we will again split. Okay, and we'll do until we get a smaller subset of the samples in the very last level. Okay, and then if you get an unseen data point, let's say we get a sample instance, let's say S9 with 5 and 70% attendance, and then we need to classify. So we will go along this. Okay, we will first check this criteria. Okay, then let's say S9 lies on this side, then we will check this criteria. S9 again lies on this side, and then on reaching here we will decide on basis of these nodes. Okay, so this may happen like here there can be 2 nodes or 3 nodes or 4 nodes. Okay, there can be 2 nodes which satisfy this, so we will classify using all those nodes. Okay, all those sample points which satisfy these two condition. Okay, and we will classify the new data point on basis of those data points. Okay, so this is how the decision tree actually works, and these are non-parametric. That means you need not to have any parameter fixed beforehand. Okay, as you start training your decision tree, you will eventually get the parameter fixed. Okay, and this is the if else statement. These are the if and else statement. If this is true, go on the this side, and else go on this side. Okay, so this is how decision tree work. So the core intuition is partitioning feature space. Unlike linear model that attempt to separate classes using a single hyperplane. So if you remember in the linear models we have seen is, we try to find one linear decision boundary that can be a hyperplane, a line, a plane. Okay, and we want to separate using this. We want to separate the data set using a single linear boundary. Okay, but a decision tree partition the feature space into axis aligned hyperrectangles using a series of sequential orthogonal decisions. So what decision tree do? It will first pick one feature. It will pick one feature and it will separate the data set on basis of that. Okay, and then it will pick another feature. Okay, and then it will separate on basis of that feature. So you can see you will get different kind of hyper rectangles. Okay, hyper rectangles here. You will extend this to 3. If you get extend this to 3, you will get a cube kind of structure divided in hyper. There will be planes dividing it, right? So this is one space, this is one space, and this is one space. Okay, so basically axis aligned boundary, each decision split orthogonally perpendicular to one of the features. We'll take one feature like here. First we took decision our studied, so we will decide, we will, like here it was 3. Okay, we will draw this line on the hour studied axis, then we will choose attendance, and then again we'll draw a line, and then we will divide on basis of this attendance feature. Okay, so this is what we do in decision tree. Okay, we partition using different features. So the key geometric property is non-linear decision boundary. This is not a linear decision boundary like here you can see this will be a L-shaped plus shaped decision boundary. Okay, by chaining multiple orthogonal splits, decision tree can represent highly non-linear complex decision boundaries without requiring non-linear feature transformation. And so that the thing is, decision tree can define a non-linear decision boundary without the need of transforming the dataset in a non-linear dimension. Okay, we need not to transform the dataset. It need not to transform the features into a non-linear transformation, and still you can get a non-linear decision boundary. Okay, and then the scale invariance. So what is this is, if you remember, in many model we saw the scale matters. The scale of the features matter. If one, let's say we have a data set where we have income and then we have, let's say, number of siblings. Okay, number of siblings and income. So obviously the scale for income will be, let's say, in thousands, in 10,000s. Okay, and number of siblings will be in single digit, 1, 2, 3, or maybe 4. Okay, so these are the scale. This is the scale of the income and this is the scale of the number of siblings. So these used to affect the model. In case of many models we saw, right, this is gonna affect the models. Like even in uh, and classify, this used to affect, and we was required to scale this down on a single scale, right? But here in decision tree, monotonic transformation of input features, scaling, normalization, log transform do not alter the tree structure or decision boundary. Only the relative ordering of the feature value matter, because anyway it is gonna split the data set on the basis of this feature scale only. Okay, and then on splitting, on while splitting on the another axis, it will be completely independent here. So that's why the scale doesn't matter. Okay, like a scale, why? Because let's say if some feature has a large scale, okay, and we draw this boundary, and if you scale it down, it now it is now present in a compact space, so it will do nothing but the separate, it just shift the decision boundary, but the number of points on this side and the number of points on this side will still remain the same. So it only depend on the relative ordering of the feature. It only depend on the relative ordering of these data points, not on the scale here. That's why in decision tree scaling doesn't matter. Okay, you can implement decision tree without caring about the scales of the features present. Okay, then the tree terminologies. So there are three node types: root node, internal node, and leaf node. So this is the root node, the very first node. Then comes the internal nodes. Okay, and then at the very last depth lies the leaf node. Okay, this is the root node, internal node, this and this. Then this is the leaf node. Okay, so the topmost node representing the entire dataset before any split are applied, and it has a depth of 0. Then the internal decision node, node where a condition on a specific feature is tested to divide the dataset into two or more subset. Leaf or terminal node, node with not outgoing edges, with no outgoing edges. These represent final prediction, contain no further splits. Okay, then come the structural attributes. Depth of a tree, the longest path from the root node to the any leaf node. A tree with only a root node has depth 0. Okay, so basically this is the depth. Well, this is 0, then this is 1, then this is 2, this line is 2, and then this is third. Okay, so this is how you're gonna number the depth of a tree. Okay, the root node is at 0 depth. Okay, then the subtree. In a portion of the tree structure treated as a secret tree, rooted at an internal node. Okay, so basically this will be a subtree, this will be a subtree, even this is a subtree. Okay, so this is the basically a subset of this tree, a subpart of this tree. You can call that as a subtree. Okay, so these are important terminologies, keep this in mind. These are really pretty obvious, but okay. So now recursive binary splitting. So the primary standard algorithm such as CART. Okay, so we will use this CART algorithm in decision tree. We will see what this is in upcoming lectures. Construct decision tree using a top-down greedy recursive binary splitting. Okay, so you will see this word recursive binary splitting in case of decision tree quite a lot. Okay, greedy recursive binary split. So what these things are: greedy. At each step, the algorithm choose the single best split on a feature that maximizes the target purity at that specific step without looking ahead to the feature split. Okay, so at every step, like at the first step, we'll just choose a feature, or like here we have two features and we'll just choose one, and there is some criteria on basis of which we choose, and we will not care about the future splits. Okay, we will not care about the future split. We will just think about the our node we had right now. Okay, and we'll choose a feature to split on for this node. Okay, so this is the greedy strategy. Then recursive, the same splitting procedure is applied independently to each created child node as a tree grow downwards. So now after splitting, we'll do the same thing here again, and that will be independent again of the previous nodes and the future nodes. Okay, so this is the then mathematical binary splitting. Every internal node split the dataset into exactly two distinct child regions based on threshold value. So mostly in decision tree, we try to define criteria such like that it will divide the dataset further into two region again. Okay, further into two region again. For any selected feature, the split as the space is divided into x such that x is less than this threshold, and xj is, this is basically instance, is greater than this threshold. Okay, so basically we're dividing the data set into two regions. So on every node we try to divide our data set in two regions, and that's why this binary thing here. This continuous orthogonal division result in classic axis aligned rectangular decision boundary characteristics of decision tree. Okay, and this leads to this rectangular decision boundary, which is the characteristic of the decision tree. Then, in supervised machine learning, we had two tasks. We had classification and we had regression, and we can use decision tree for both of them. So let's see how. So here the output type will be categorical class level, obviously, and it will be continuous numerical value in case of the regression. Then what will be the prediction strategy? Let's say we made a tree, we defined criteria. Okay, and here we got, let's say, 5 points, 5 samples with this criteria. We satisfy all these criteria. Here we got 2 points, then 3 points, and 4 points. Okay, which satisfy the respective criteria here. Okay, now how you gonna choose in case of classification? Now you will get an unseen test point. How you gonna classify? So you will first see in which subset it lies. Okay, so let's say satisfy this condition, then satisfy this condition. So basically in this subset it will lie. So you will choose the majority class here. Okay, you will choose the majority class between these 5 points to classify the unseen data point. And similarly in regression, you will take this 5 point will have some value for the level, right? Let's say 10.5, 100, 21.2 something. So you will take all those points, or let's say 10.5 again and 31. You will take all those points, you will calculate the mean here, and that will be your prediction for the unseen test point. Okay, so sample mean of the training targets in the region. So here the same thing is written in the mathematical terms. Okay, then the target metrics, misclassification, error, and impurity. So these will be the metrics in case of classification tree, and we will see both of these in upcoming lectures. And then in regression tree, that will be a squared, residual error, MSC. We have seen this already. Okay, so this was it. Let's see the summary part. Axis aligned limits. Decision tree struggle with diagonal decision boundary. A diagonal split require a staircase approximation consisting of many orthogonals. So this is nothing but it is saying for every axis we make an orthogonal split. Basically the decision boundary, the threshold is perpendicular to this feature. Okay, this, and we did this for different features, and then we got this kind of rectangular structures. Okay, then no data scaling required. The standardizing features has zero effect on decision tree splitting, unlike distance-based algorithm. Then non-parametric nature. The number of parameters isn't fixed beforehand. As the depth grow, model capacity and parameters scale with the dataset complexity. Okay, so we don't fix the depth, we don't fix the number of nodes. Okay, but in like when you actually step into the implementing this decision tree, you do fix the max depth or something, but here we don't fix the depth of the tree, the number of nodes. Okay, so this is a non-parametric in nature. Okay, so this was it. This was a pretty basic lecture, but it will create the foundation for you for learning the advanced concept which gonna come in the upcoming lectures. So thank you, and I hope to see you soon in another lecture. Until then, enjoy and happy learning with us.